We will now be on page Word 52, which is entitled Copying Formats Using the Format Painter. And you can dramatically change the appearance of text by applying different font styles, font effects, and character spacing effects. For example, you can use the buttons in the font group to make text darker by applying a bold, or to slant text by applying the italic. You can also use the font dialog box to apply font effects and character spacing effects to the text. When you are satisfied with the formatting of certain text, you can quickly apply the same formats to other text using the Format Painter, which is a powerful Word feature that allows you to copy all the format settings applied to the selected text to other texts that you want to format it the same way. And that's actually a very time-saving tool that's on there. That way, so you don't have to constantly be selecting text and then making sure that you have all the correct options for each individual bit of text that you want to have. Now, taking a look, and we're going to be continuing using the file that we were working with, the last minute deals that we were working with in video 1. In step 1, it tells us we are going to select immediate booking is essential in the first body paragraph. So when we take a look at that, and here's our first body paragraph, that's on there. And here we go right here. Right there is the so immediate booking is essential. And that's in the first body paragraph. So what we're going to do is we want to highlight those words that are on there. So first of all, we're going to make this bold. So we're going to go up here to the font group and we're going to click on the bold. You could also hit your Control and B key. That would be the keyboard shortcut. Second, we're going to select this entire paragraph. So you can select this entire paragraph right up here, including the period afterwards. And then what we're going to do is we're going to italicize or make this paragraph italics. So we're going to click on the I here, which stands for italic. You can also hit your Control plus your I key, and that will make all the font italicized. In step 2, it tells us that we are going to select last minute travel deals. So right up here, we're going to select this font on there, or this text, and we're going to make some changes. And it tells us that we want to click the launcher in the font group. So if we go up here to the font group where we were working earlier, we can click on this launcher here and notice that it brings up the font dialog box on there. And here you can use the options on the font tab to change the font style, size, color of text, and either to add underlining or apply different types of effects to this font. In step 3, it tells us on there that we're going to scroll down the size list. So here we have the size, which is still measured in points on there until we hit 248. And when we see 48, we're going to click on it. Now notice that instead of seeing the preview in the document, we have a preview down here. Next, it tells us that we are going to click the font color list arrow. So here we have the font color, and here's the list arrow that's on there. And notice it brings up the same palette as what we used before. And on this case, we're going to use the red accent 2 on there, which should be up at the top in the 6th column. We click on that and notice that it is now, we have a preview here. Now it doesn't show the full font on there because this is a very large font. Then next what we're going to do is we're going to click on the shadow text box, the effect box here. So we notice that we go down to this effects area and here is the shadow checkbox. When we click on that, notice it gives our text just a little bit of a shadow to make it stand out just a little bit more. Once we have that, we're going to click on OK and deselect our text. And now you notice that our text is now size 48. It's larger, it's red, and now has the shadow effect to it. Of course, you can also change the case of selected text from uppercase to lowercase and vice versa using the Change Case button that's on there. And that button is right up here. So if you've ever had your caps locks on and had accidentally forgot to have your first letter of your sentence capitalized and everything else was capitalized but your first letter, you can actually change the case of that by using these different button sets right here. So you can make it a sentence case, all lowercase, all uppercase, to where it capitalizes each word. That's very handy when writing titles. And also toggle case is that one where you left your caps locks on, and that way so it flips everything around. In step 4, it tells us that we're going to select the last minute travel deals again. So we're going to select this up here. And then now we're going to right click on this. And this brings up a shortcut menu. And from here we can click on font. Now that is the same thing as clicking on the launcher up here. So whichever one you're more comfortable with doing on there, that's the one you want to work on. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to switch tabs here. From instead of the font tab, we're going to go to the character spacing tab. And when we click on that, what we're going to do is we're going to click the scale list arrow on here. So notice that right now the scale is at 100%, and we're going to change this to 80. Once we have that, we're going to go ahead and click on OK and deselect the text. And notice that it makes the text a little bit smaller, because you want to use the character spacing tab in the font dialog box to change the scale or width of the selected characters, to alter the spacing between the characters, or to raise or lower the characters. When you decrease the scale of the characters, it makes them narrower and gives them the text a tall, thin appearance, as you see here. So you may want to use that, especially if you're making a title and you want to have it a little bit, taller and thinner appearance. On step 5, it tells us that we want to scroll down, and we're going to select the subheading Camel Safari. So we're going to scroll down a little bit here, and underneath this paragraph right here, there is Camel Safari, and we're going to select that text. Now, it tells us, using the mini toolbar on there, that we want to change the font to Trebuchet MS. It wants us to make this bold and italic. And also, we're going to change the color of this to the red accent 2. And then so now what we've done is we've made those multiple changes to this. We've made it bold, we've changed the font, and we've changed it to italics, and we changed the color to it. Now if we were going to do this to other areas, we would have to do those same multiple steps. However, Word has provided us an excellent tool in which we're going to use the Format Painter. In step 6, it tells us that once we have deselected it, we want to reselect it again. And we're going to click on up here the Format Painter in the clipboard group. When we click on that, notice that it looks depressed in, that it has a different look to it, that it's highlighted. And when you move your mouse pointer into your document, notice it has a little paintbrush with your I-beam pointer. And that is showing you that the Format Painter has now been activated. Now we want to scroll down a little bit to where we get this Mahara experience. And it tells us that we want to select it with our current cursor that we have now. When you select it and let go of your mouse button, notice it made all the same changes to the font as what we did up here. So that is a quick time saver, and it also makes sure that you don't forget any features, like maybe you forgot to bold it or italicize it on there. In step 8, it tells us that we're going to scroll up as needed on there so that we can select this Rashahan Desert Safari. And when we select this, this time we're going to double click the Format Painter. And double clicking the Format Painter on there allows the Format Painter to remain active until you turn it off. So if I want to use this same style of text, with the same font size, the same font, the same color, the same bold on there, and I want to use this multiple times, I want to double click my Format Painter, because now if I go down to step 9, and it tells me I want to scroll down until I see this Everest Base Camp Trek, and it tells me I want to select it. Notice that the text has changed, but look at my mouse pointer. It is still a paintbrush with an I-beam pointer on there. And then next, what we want to do is we want to scroll down a little bit more until we see Cycling in Providence, and we're going to select that. So notice the Format Painter is still selected, it's still active on there, but yet we can still select this as many times as we want to until we turn it off. The last thing that we're going to change to this text is the Inca Highlands Explorer. So we change that as well. Now we're going to turn it off, and to turn it off, you just go ahead and click on the Format Painter, and now notice that my insertion point is, or my cursor is back to the eye beam pointer on there. Now, of course, another way that you can be creative with your text is to underline it. So if you want to underline important things that are on there, that is what the U with a line underneath it is. And that concludes the video for pages Word 52 and 53, copying formats using the Format Painter. On the next video, we're going to be talking about changing line and paragraph spacing.